Yo, what's going on, Donnies and Donettes? Come on, welcome to another episode of another week of the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast. Cheese! Now, on this episode, guys, what I really want to talk about is the jump. 2-4, what's the jump? That sounds drastic. Like, what are you talking about? The jump is a move I feel someone has to do, especially when they want to go from part-time DJ to full-time DJ. If you look at a lot of the recent guests I've had on the podcast, I've been mindful in a sense like these guys are seasoned veterans. They've been in the game for a long time. They've got a lot of knowledge to share. They've done a lot. So some of the conversations, depending on where you are in your game, might be hard to relate to. Another thing that I'm mindful of are the DJs that are currently part-time, but they want to make it to full-time. And when you're hearing all of these stories and all of the things that some of these DJs are doing, it makes you think to yourself, oh man, I want to be there. How am I going to get there? It's impossible for me to get there. That sounds amazing, but it could never happen to me. And I'm going to say that I used to be in the exact same boat, which is one of the main reasons why I do this podcast, because I want to break the myths. A lot of the things that I used to believe is because of my limiting beliefs, and some of the limiting beliefs that I had came from other people and people that made me think things that wasn't true. So if I was listening to a podcast with certain experts that used to come on, I would listen to them and hear them, but some of the things that they say might not hit home because I don't believe that I can achieve what I'm hearing. What makes it even harder is when you're stuck to a 9-to-5, especially if the 9-to-5 is something that you don't want to pursue. It's not really it doesn't really represent you and the things that you want to achieve in life. And when I was working, that was the kind of realm I was in. I'll be honest with you, the work that I was doing, I loved it, I was passionate about it, and that's why I was so good at it. But I think with the ways some of things work, as in management and all the different people and the things above in the system, that was the thing that I really had gripes with. So today, I want to talk to the people that are part-time and they're working and they want to become full-time, especially when you're hearing all of these great things and all these people are doing, and you're like, can that be me? Yes, it can. We're going to talk about it right now. Let's roll that sexy intro. Now, let's talk about some of the reasons why someone might want to become full-time. A lot of us, we got into DJing not by force, it was solely by choice. This is something that we have chose to do. We're passionate about music, we're passionate about making people having a good time, we're passionate about people dancing. These are some of the main reasons why I become DJs. So it's not something that we're forced into, so it's a passion. And it's great if you can make a full-time living of something you actually love. And that will be some of the reasons why someone might want to go full-time. I'm going to keep saying, quick disclaimer, if you love your job and you are very comfortable and happy where you are and you want to be a part-time DJ and you want to continue your full-time job, guys, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. My thing is that the main thing we should all be chasing here is happiness, man, and whatever that means to you. If you're comfortable in your day job and you're like, you know what, I love doing the DJing on the side and I like having these both the two working in tandem, for a lot of people, that is absolutely perfect. All I'm going to say is that I want to talk to the people that might not be in that position and they think that getting full-time is kind of an impossible thing, and we're going to try and break some myths right now. Now, the one thing I'll say, when going from part-time to full-time, one of the things I did, and I'm hoping even if you're part-time, you still do this, but once again, guys, I'm an open book. I'm just being transparent with what it was like for me a couple of years ago. So when I was doing part-time, I used to be, when I look at my professionalism now, and when I'm talking about professionalism, I'm talking about things like email responses, contracts, all the boring stuff that happens in the background, having an accountant, having a registered business, all of these things. When I first started, guys, I never had it. It was like, you know, similar to like a hobby, but something that I'm taking seriously and I'm really good at, but something that I'm not doing as well as I might be doing my day job, if that makes any sense. So some of my things wasn't that professional. I remember some of my email responses, my times. I'm trying to remember. I don't even know if I had public liability insurance. I'm not even going to lie. Obviously, we're talking years ago here. So if you're new here and you want to know how to have some of your paperwork and all the things you need to have a legitimate business in hand, go back to episode 12 where I'm talking about contracts and all those types of things and the things you need, public liability, NI, all these things that you need paperwork-wise so you can secure bookings legitimately and properly. Because when I first started, I'm going to be honest, I was cowboying it. Yeehaw! And when I look back in it, I think to myself, this is some of the reasons why now, when I speak to certain clients, they sometimes say to me, if they've spoken to a DJ before, or 2 or 3 DJs before me, and they speak to me, they seem to be like wowed with the professionalism. And a part of me remembers who I was, 4 or 5 years ago. And then I say to myself, they was probably speaking to someone like me who was where I was back then. And with the systems and the things that I have in place now, you can definitely see the difference. Well, in myself, maybe, you're able to operate different, but in myself, how I was able to operate as a part-time DJ and how I can operate as a full-time DJ are 2 massively different things. So let's start with the main point here. One of the things that I think makes it so much better to be a full-time DJ is time. Time, guys, is the most important commodity anyone on this earth has. Some people think money is more important. I disagree. Money goes up and down. Whether some people are earning £10 a day, then some people earning £1,000 a day. But they're both still people. So money goes up and down. But you see, time is time. 24 hours is 24 hours. 5 minutes is 5 minutes. Whether it's for the rich guy or for the poor guy, time is exactly the same. And that's the one thing that we don't know when our time is ending. So that is one thing what I'm going to quickly say is that's the reason why charging for your time, which is what we do, charging accordingly for your time is very important. Giving away your time for free for something that you're not happy with is not something you want to do. Because the reason why time is the most important commodity, it's worth more than money. So when you're putting a price on your time, make sure it's something that makes sense for you and what it is that you're doing. Undercutting yourself or bringing your rate down for people that you don't know doesn't make any sense to me, guys. And this is when you're not running a business. When you do things like this, when you're cutting your prices and bringing things down for people you don't know, this is not... McDonald's don't do that, neither does Sainsbury's, neither does nowhere else where you shop with your contactless card. No one offers you a discount, so you shouldn't do it for anyone else because they run businesses and there's nothing different with yours. So time is one of the most important things. When you are working, when you are part-timing or part-time DJ, full-time work, you find yourself, which I know a lot of you can relate because we've all been in this situation at some point where you want to chase your full-time DJ business, but then you're coming home from work and you're tired. Whether you're leaving out at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, you're doing your 9, you're finishing at 5, you're traveling back, you get home for like 6, you're having your dinner, then you really want to wind down. You want to indulge in some TV, some Netflix, some movies, some games, some gaming, computing, whatever it may be. And before you know it, it's bedtime. And then you think to yourself, I haven't done anything for my business. I haven't done anything to change my business, to bring in more leads, to change anything, because you find yourself, your time is taken up. And that's going to be from Monday to Friday, apart from the times where you can find little bits of give or take. Then you're going to be using your weekends. Now, if you've got a partner or if you've got children, this is the time that normally is dedicated to them. So then therefore you start to see that your weekends are also gone as well, so you're not able to put in time to your business. I know I was there. I don't know if there's anyone else that can relate, but I remember when I was this guy, what I'm talking about right now, and I was running my little business on the side, and it wasn't that great, but time was peak. And then afterwards, you've got Sunday, day of rest and stuff, right? Yes, but once again, depending on where you are, if you've got kids, if you've got misses, if you haven't, fantastic. But if you have, sometimes you can use Sundays to prep for the week ahead, whether it's doing the wash, your clothes, you're doing homework with the kid, you're doing all these types of things. And with that, you start to lose your time. You've got very, very, very little time, which makes it hard to build, start, run, move forward, scale or grow a profitable business. So when it comes time to trying to break away from that and make the jump, the one thing I'm definitely gonna say is that you're gonna have to start clawing some time back. If you'll find yourself, you're full-time working, you've got a long drive and there's a lot of time and you don't have enough time to then build maybe your mobile DJ business, is that you want to start scaling back time. And I know there's parts of your day where you can scale back and take back for you and stop giving to others. For instance, some of them I've already said, gaming. I don't know which one of you is gaming and you're hoping to start a business. That it could be mobile DJ, it could be anything. If you're gaming, it makes it harder because those times that you're playing games, and this isn't games like N64 and Sega Mega Drive back in the day where you could play for a little while. These games are deep. They're asking you for 1 to 7 hours when you start to play. I know people that play way more than that. But when we're talking about those massive chunks of time, that is time what you could be using to invest into your business. Time into your business is an investment. Even if you're doing research that you're going to action, if you're doing research on something to learn that you're going to then action to put into your business, that is time invested into your business. So you can take that time away from the gaming and then invest that time into the business. This will help you be able to either exit the 9 to 5 or be able to have a much more steadier life, so you can still do your work and you can find your couple hours in the evening throughout the week where you can dedicate and say to yourself, this is what I'm going to put in because I want to become full-time, or I want to just have a better balance, and then you can cut out the gaming. That is definitely one that probably has to go. You might not like it, but it has to go. The next one is going to be Netflix. Guys, the Netflix, the Disney Channel, the Paramount Channel, the Now TV, Virgin, Sky, I don't care what subscription you have. Depending on what other people are watching your account, you might have to cancel that. It's not adding into what you want to do. If you love your movies and you love your games, you're going to be loving your games and loving your movies. But the business world might not be for you. It might not work. It might not be for you. But if it's something that you do want to do, you got to look at these things, because these things are taking a lot of your time. Time that you could be spending on scaling, moving up, growing your business, to then leave the daytime and then enter the full-time. With all the guests that we have on this show, majority of them are full-time, because I film in a time where most people are working. We film on Wednesdays, we film in the afternoon. People are working, daytime and afternoon, people are working. But we have all these guests coming on because we have this different time cycle, which allows us to do things just like this. Another thing, if you want to make the jump, is your money, your income, how you spend your money. This is something that I didn't realize until a little bit later on. I had to look at my expenses, what I was spending things on, and I'm really trying to get into my head. I know I want to exit. So if I want to exit, kind of how's my money looking? I had to look at some of my expenditure. You know, when you can go into your email account and just write subscriptions, and all the different subscriptions you got are coming up, £29 a month, £7 a month, £12 a month, all these different types of things a month. And then you got to think to yourself, out of those things, out of all of those subscriptions, which one of those are pointing to the goal that I'm trying to achieve? Now, remember, at the moment, the goal you're trying to achieve is being a full-time DJ. So you got to look at some of those subscriptions and say, is that subscription helping me achieve my goal? Or is it benefiting me personally? Is it helping me achieve my goal? Or is it taking more of my time? My most important commodity, the thing that I need to make the jump. Is it taking my time, or is it an investment into the new company, the new business, or the business that you're already kind of running? And when I did that, I started seeing there was a lot of things that I was spending money on that wasn't helping me and wasn't getting me to that. So I was able to cancel some of those subscriptions. And then I had to be one of those tight guys and say, let me have some layaway money. Let me have some layaway money. Why are we doing layaway? Because we're going to do something called the jump that I said earlier. When you're going to do the jump is when you're going to jump from your job, sign up, start up your company, and then go full time. You are going to need a little bit of background money just in case things don't work out. Now, I'm not telling you you're going to need crazy grands or crazy lots and lots and lots of money. You're going to need a little bit of surplus depending on how you do it. Because one thing you don't want to do is exit from the job, try something for a month or two and say, it's not working, and then go back. Because what usually happens with those types of people, they end up staying because they say to themselves, they tried. They didn't try in the best way, but the mind says, I tried, we did that, it's not for us, and then you stick with the job. Once again, if you're happy with your job, fine. Me, I remembered, I loved what I did, I just didn't like the system around it. Anyway, when it comes to cutting back on your spending, you want to focus on things that you need and not things that you want. Things that you need and not things that you want. Now, guys, when I'm saying all of these things, I want you to bear in mind, everything we're talking about here is going to be temporary. You're cutting out these things temporarily. You're stopping these things temporarily. We need to make the jump first. And to do that, we need to cut off the weight so we can make that jump. Once we're over the other side, we can navigate after a few months, and then we can bring all the things back if you want. Actually, now you have more gaming time. If gaming is really your thing, you will have way more gaming time. If movies are your thing and you love a Netflix, now is the time when you can bring back that subscription, pay up, because technically, hopefully, you're in a better position. You've got more money. You can have all of these things and be in a better place because you've got way more time. But anyway, let's get back to what we were saying. Focus on the things that you need, not on the things that you want, before you make the jump when it comes to your money, your income, and the things that you're doing. Another thing I want to touch on as well is when you've got bookings coming in, when you're doing both at the same time. Once again, thinking about that, back to myself. When you're doing both things at the same time and you want to cut back on your spending, take back some of your time, these things are going to help you then focus on like your social media, your SEO, you're getting your website, all the things in episode 2, getting all your paperwork together so you can start getting some decent bookings that are paying you decent money. Now remember, we're still early, we're still part-time, so we might not be charging the arms and the legs like maybe some other DJs are, but we're still able to charge something that we're happy with and we're able to give a good service. Now, if we think about making a jump from work, let's just use basic numbers. Let's say we're earning 30 grand a year. We're earning 30 grand a year, and then we are able to pay our bills and do the things that we want. Now, we want to make the jump. One of the things that you're going to want to do is try to replace your income, obviously, which makes sense. You want to try to replace your income, so therefore, you know you're still able to pay your bills, you're still able to do the things that you need to do, your food, your water, your outgoings, everything that you need can still run, but now you've switched where you're getting it from. So instead of getting it from your job, you've now switched it to your full time. So if we're looking at a 30 grand salary, I always think it's good to get close to about 70% of what it is that you used to earn. So let's just say you was earning 30 grand. You want to try and get 70% of that in booking. So if we're looking at in numbers, we're looking at about 22,500, which is about 7 grand, 7.5 grand off what your usual number is. But bearing in mind, we're doing that cutback thing that I spoke about before. These things make it easier to have a little bit of a lesser number. So then when we do make the jump, we are kind of ready because we've cut back on our spending. We're saving a bit more better now. We're getting a bit more of our time back to invest the time to then be able to make that jump. So if you are able to accumulate around 22 grand worth of bookings, and that's current and future. So you don't want to wait until you get to that 22,000. You might want to wait until you get to the future place where you're like, I've got, 8 or 9 bookings coming in the next 7 or 8 months. That can help you make the jump as well. And the jump is literally saying, I don't have 30 grand. I don't even have 15. I've got like 12 or 11. I still need to do another 12, 15. I've got 9 coming up. This is where the jump happens because there's not much certainty. And the certainty, not having that certainty is why it's called a jump and not a step. A jump is having a bit more faith, having faith in yourself, what you're able to do, and the things you're going to hold yourself accountable to do, because now we are leaving the world of where someone is paying for you and not like looking after you, obviously working for your money, but you're being paid every month and you're able to sort this out. Now we're in a place where you're not getting paid every month. There'll be times you're paid many times in the month, and there'll be times you're not paid any time that month. And then it comes down to budgeting and how you budget your money, which is where the training of keeping your money back and those things that you was doing earlier really come in handy now, because you're able to say, okay, we need to cut back on this, bring that down, and maybe bring that up, and then maybe pay myself a salary from my wages, which a lot of accountants and some of the apps can set up for you, where you are able to have your business account and you can take out whatever it is you was earning monthly or just a little bit less, and then siphon that off. So you're still getting that payday, but instead of getting it from a company and someone you don't know, you're getting it from your own company and it's you. Oh, that's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Let me give you a bit of story time. So I'm going to tell you how I made the jump from my company. My one was a little bit different. So I used to be a youth worker. Some of you guys may know I used to do a lot of mentoring. I used to do counseling for a lot of teenagers in schools to try and keep them from being permanently excluded. Now, I loved the job and I loved what we was doing. I had a project that we created where I was going around to many different mainstream schools. And what I was trying to do is that I was really trying to bring down the permanent exclusion number, because a lot of schools and parents don't understand when you are permanently excluded from a mainstream school, what domino effect that can have on young people. So I used to go directly into the schools and talk to the ones that were most at risk of a permanent exclusion. Now, this is a program that I built myself and I was able to do with a school. So I was doing outsourcing and I was working on the brand, but I was going out delivering these works, getting the schools, doing the contracting, doing the invoices, doing everything. Now, there came a point where it was lockdown, and during lockdown, I was doing the pop-up stuff, as some of you know. I went down to a park in East London, and I did a pop-up, and it kind of turned into like a mini festival. Actually, I think I've got a clip. Roll the clip. So funny enough, that made it onto the news at the time.
As lockdown restrictions ease has been shocking. It's councils who've been left to clean up not just the rubbish, but other unsavoury things that people have left behind. In fact, Hackney Council is so fed up with it, they're taking legal action. Well, Katie Barnfield is at London Fields for us this evening. Katie, what's prompted this?
Well, the council say they're going to the courts because of unacceptable levels of litter, noise and disturbance. They say it's having a huge impact on people who live round here, and their only option really is to look into trying to ban alcohol from the park altogether. Now, there have been videos posted on social media recently showing huge numbers of people gathering in the park, and the council say they've seen DJs putting on sound systems, parties going on well into the night, and also, sadly, people relieving themselves in other people's gardens and on their doorsteps. They say they've given out 193 fines over the last 2 months compared to just 9 in the entire of last year, and they're worried that it's only going to get worse as the summer goes on. Now, people I spoke to who live round here a little bit earlier said the main issue really is a lack of toilets.
The main issue really is the toilets and the signage for that. So many thousands of people coming here, it feels like.
And I got a lot of stick from a lot of people that lived in East London, and it was blaming me for things that I had no fault of my own. That is not something that I did, but I was getting a lot of stick for those type of things. At the same time, I got a lot of positivity, and oh my days, guys, I got a lot of bookings from that. When I mean a lot. I to this day, probably, we're talking from that booking alone, at least 17 to 22 bookings from that. Because you got to remember, there was no DJs DJing out. I was one of the only DJs DJing publicly and starting parties here and there and everywhere. Not trying to start parties, but it making people enjoy this dark time that we was in. Imagine, guys, a few weeks afterwards, I get a call from the CEO of the school that I used to work for. And I'm like, wow, what's he calling me for? So I pick up the phone, all like, wow, hey, what's this? Is this like something really good's about to happen? And then he goes to tell me that there's a video circling around of me DJing in East London. I said, yeah, okay. And he says, yeah, because basically where you did that, we need to do something about it. I'm like, but this is in my own time, not in work. What? Huh? What are you talking about? Anyway, cut a long story short, they thought it would be a good idea, guys, to suspend me during lockdown. At the time, Lucy was pregnant with Isaiah. So we was about to have our first child, and they thought it was a good idea to then, it was lockdown, so we was all working from home, doing all the video calls and stuff. And then they said that they are going to stop my pay for 7 days. They're going to stop, I won't get no money for 7 days. And I was like, I remember saying, I've got a child coming. Like, what do you mean? Remember I was talking about all the numbers and the money? I had all my stuff calculated. So now I'm out of pocket. And I'm like, I remember hanging up that phone and I'm like, I'm on a disciplinary because I did something that the government was saying you shouldn't do. But I'm like, what's that got to do with you? I wasn't violating. There was not. Anyway, basically, one thing that I learned from that is that for me personally, working for another company, you're always owned. You are owned. They took something away from me, and then I was like, okay, I'm not working anymore for something that I love to do. That's got nothing. It's not like I was violating at work. It's something that they saw and I was like, do you know what? We're not happy with that. We're docking your wages. Straight away, guys, I felt powerless. As someone who's just about to become a dad, I felt powerless. And I was like, this can never happen to me again. So then what I did is that I set up an exit plan where I was like, I am leaving this place and I'm never joining any company, no, I'm not working for anyone ever again because of that experience. And it was that powerlessness that I felt that made me say, I can't have this. Especially now I've got a child coming, I can't have someone put me on a disciplinary or tell me that this is happening or dock my money or tell me I can't go to the birth, or I can't have no one telling me anything from now on. So I started another company. Remember the project that I made with the school? I created the project myself because it was mine. And then I said, what I'm going to do, looked into my contract, make sure that there was no non-compete. So I'm able to go and sell this product myself to the same contractors or other different schools in the same area. Went through my contract, no non-compete. They've learnt now. They've got a non-compete in their contract now, which I told them, take that as a lesson. So what I do, I registered my own company. At the time, it was called Off-Road Interventions. It was the same program that I was offering, but I was doing it myself. I've gone to the schools that I was working at, and I told them, yep, I've handed in my notice to the company that I work with. I will no longer be, in the next 6 weeks, I won't be here anymore. Companies ask, where are you going? What are you doing? I told them I'm starting my own company. What's the difference? I said, there's no difference. I'm just doing it myself because I don't like the system. I prefer to run a program myself because I feel I can do it better. And this was another thing. When I had great ideas of I will see things on the ground and I'm like, we need to act tomorrow or put this new program in next week. When I used to try and run funnels in to tell them about things that I'm seeing and ways that we can improve, it took so long, guys, to get an okay or to get a yes. And I'm like, it works. It's going to make sense. It's this. I can see the whole thing, and it used to take weeks and weeks and weeks and emails and emails and emails to get things over the line, which are going to bring more profit for the company. It didn't make any sense. They moved slow. And if you guys know, maybe someone's listening now, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. You might have been or are still part of a chain where you got some great ideas for the company, but they're not listening. They are moving slow for whatever reason. And then now you're just there like, I've got all these ideas, I've got all this inspiration and things that I want to bring to the company, but the company moved too slow. That's another thing that I didn't like as well. So once again, cut a long story short, what I was able to do then, out of the 5 contracts I had, I was working at 5 different schools, I was able to close 3. So 3 of those contracts, they then took me on full time. They then left the school that I was with. Imagine the CEO had the decency, the same guy that told me that I couldn't do what I've done and he's taking my wages. One time I'm in a session with a couple of youngsters, and he phones me and gives me the most unprofessional call, guys. The guy's on the phone telling me what you're doing is bad, effing and blinding. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is big CEO. I wish I could have recorded the call, guys. I wish I would have took him to the cleaners. But anyway, I stayed professional. And I was like, okay, I understand that you're emotional. Can we talk about this later? Because I'm currently in a session. And he never picked up the phone anyway. Donuts, all of them, donuts. But for me, that was a quick story. But basically, that was one of the reasons for me. That was the driving force for me to say, I need to make the jump. I need to do something that is for me. I need to do something where no one has control over the things that I'm doing. And now, guys, when I look back, that was the best decision I ever had in my life. I am able to go and pick up my kids. I'm able to be with my kids way more than even I was back then. I'm able to scale my business, spend time on the business, on things improving, so I can literally every day, whether it's working on myself, I'm able to work on my fitness. I'm able to do so much things for me. And when I think about the companies that I was working for before, they didn't do anything for me. I hope it's different for you guys. I hope you listening, that if you do have a job, it's not like that for you. I'm not going to say mine was hell, but when I look back, it feels like it was. It wasn't, but it feels like it was, because it was very much all about them. There was nothing that was, the well-being and the looking after the staff and stuff. They never really had much of that. But what I do now for myself, what I'm able to do for myself, they could never do, and they would never do. And that's the reason why I'm full-time, and that's the reason why I like the way things are for me as it is for myself. Now, once again, I'm talking very general. The thing is, when it comes to podcasts, I know some of my audience. I kind of know who, but I don't know exactly who you are, exactly what you're going through, and exactly what your thing looks like. I can only generalize. So when I'm talking podcast, it's going to be very general. So I'm talking about my general story, and I don't know which one of you listening where you are maybe in a similar position or was in a similar position, or you want to make the jump, you want to make the move, you want to be able to be self-sufficient and be able to support yourself. Now, one thing I'm definitely going to say, and I'm always going to say with the social media posting, with everything that I talk about, nothing's easy, guys. Nothing is easy. When I bring these experts on to speak about their stories, I like to bring them on. One is because we're all different and we all do things different ways. I don't want everyone to just look at my model and say, that's the model. My model, guys, works very well for me. It works very well, very efficiently for me. But I understand that my model might not work for everyone, which is the reason why I bring lots of different experts on to talk about their model and what works for them, because hopefully a bit of what I do might work for you, a bit of what he does, a bit of what she does, and you can make a cocktail with all of those things and then make it work for you. This brings me swiftly into the whole reason we are bringing the event to the stages, which is Level Up Live 2026. The one thing I struggled with the most is education. Education on how to run a mobile DJ business. I didn't know. I had some of the ifs and the buts and the maybes, but I never had someone concrete who was doing it, successful in it, to guide me along the way to make sure that I don't waste time and money. Because when you don't know how to do things, you end up wasting time and or money. I wasted a lot of time, and guys, I wasted so much money. There's some equipment and things that I bought, I used 2 or 3 times because I got shiny syndrome, whatever it is, when you see something, oh, I need it. Bought it, used it twice. Dead. Haven't used it since. That is a bad way to spend your money. But if you've learned certain things and you've gone through certain things, you start to be much more better with your spending. Some of the things that I always say, like I show you guys, I've got FLX10, FLX6, FLX4, but I use the FLX4 a lot. One, this is to motivate the new DJs that are coming in, because I like them to see that you can operate a business successfully with an FLX4. You don't need an FLX10. If you want one, fine. If you can go and get one and afford one, fine. But I'm telling you, that's a you choice, which is totally fine. Going back to what I was saying before about when you're spending money, is it a need or is it a want? What you need is something so you can mix and play music, do your wheel ups, drop your air horn, and do your DJing. That's what you need. Any DJ controller can do that. What you want is something flashy, something shiny, something that maybe, I don't know who, but it's going to be a DJ. Only a DJ is going to come and be like, that's a good bit of kit, because they know exactly what they're looking at. So I always say, this is another thing I say, impressing DJs is not what you want to do. DJs are not going to book you. DJs are not going to put your money in your pocket. I take that back. Some DJs have booked me. I have to, that is actually... yeah, I got to say that still. But in general, what I'm saying in general, when you're looking at those different controllers and all these shiny stuff, think about the people you're serving. Do they care? Most of the time, no. What they have booked you for is to deliver a great service and give them an epic party. That's 90% of the reason why they've booked you. You could have 2 iPads back there. 2 iPads. One on Apple Music, one on Spotify. They're going through a mixer, bam, and you're just fading in. Guys, you could be doing that. I definitely suggest not to, but I'm just saying, I know there's DJs out there, they're mixing skills, that's basically what they're doing, and they're getting away with it, and they're making some good bread, do you know what I'm saying? But what's going to be so good about Level Up Live is that we're going to talk about the business aspects, the things that can help you make that jump into the full-time DJ. One of the things that you're going to need to do is marketing. Now, there's loads of ways of marketing, and most of it you would pay for. But as you guys have heard, I've just told you the story about saving your money, doing the jump, and cutting back on costs. That's my mindset. That's the reason why I'm the person that uses social media, and I try to not spend any money on ads. Don't get me wrong, it's not easy, guys. I'm going to keep saying it's harder, and spending money on ads might be easier. But with the way I've done what I've done, I'm able to use predominantly my Instagram and my TikTok, to generate me leads through just the videos that I put out. It goes to the right people at the right time. Doesn't get the most craziest amount of views, but it goes to the people that I want to see it. And those people are going to be brides and grooms and DJs. I remember my first client meeting, and it was wild. Well, in a good way, I feel that my charisma and charm is what pushed them over the line. And then they booked me. But I think they paid their deposit the day after, and that shows me that they never looked at another DJ. If they contacted another DJ who was a bit more seasoned than me, they would have won that booking, because their systems and their process would have probably been better than mine. Mine was a phone call. It was a phone call, and I did ask them some questions because I was trying to put myself in their shoes. But it was very, very, very basic. But when it comes to Level Up Live, we'll be talking about that. So if you're a new DJ or even a seasoned DJ, sometimes it's good to hear what other people are doing. And guys, we're going to be fully transparent on the day. And sometimes it's good to hear what other people are doing to see how maybe you can continue doing what you're doing, but add a little bit of that, add a little bit of that, add a little bit of that. Because all of that is only going to help you level up. Also, we're going to talk about flows. And once again, I didn't know what a workflow was. When people said workflow, I remember, guys, I'll be in rooms acting like I knew what it was. Oh, yeah, workflow, yeah. In my head, I'm like, what does that even mean? It sounds simple, but what exactly are they talking about? And I didn't know that they're talking about when a client flow, sort of like a client journey, because that's another word of it, a workflow, client journey. What do they go through? What happens this time, then next, then next, then next, then next, then next, and every client follows those steps. You'll learn what clients are missing, what things are needed, and you add to those steps. Then you get to a stage where every single client that you have or customer that you have, they go through and they feel like this has been a thorough service. And it has, because you've covered all the cracks from all the stuff that you've learned in the past. So if you're new, once again, coming to Level Up Live, we're going to be talking about all of this, and we're also going to have Tony Roberts. Tony Roberts is going to be on our panel. You'll be able to ask Tony Roberts all the stuff that you've heard him speak about on last week's episode and some of the episodes prior. You can talk to Tony Roberts about his USP. I think Tony Roberts' USP is one of the best. It separates him from almost 98% of all the DJs almost everywhere. So seeing how that could work for you, or seeing how having a brand can work for you, you can ask them direct questions at Level Up Live. If you're coming, man. Guys, we are going to have Lord's DJ, big DJ in Manchester. He's going to be coming down to talk about some of his social media success as well, and some of the things that he's done. You can question him on the things that you've seen on his social media and the things that he's doing, because he is superly happy to share, and he's going to be a guest on his podcast real soon. Ewan Lawrence, my guy, Tartan Entertainment, the king of Scotland. He's going to be there also, talking about multi-ops, VAT, ups and downs of money. These things, guys, these are all the things that sometimes we don't get to hear about. And then what we don't want to do is that we end up failing and then paying the price. Coming to these things can save you so much money. But most importantly, because money is not the most important thing, time is. Time is the most important thing, guys. I can't stress it enough. Saving time is the most important. We don't know how long we've got on this earth. If someone can save you a year, what is that worth to you? Saving you a year in lessons, and you can, come on, it makes sense. I know a year is worth a lot to me, a lot. So that's just my mindset. And we have another guest, CB. DJ CB, guys, if you haven't seen him, I'm sure most of you know. He's going to be on the panel as well, talking about organizing music. You don't know, he is the king of having music organized. And I think that is very, very important as well. Makes your life so much more easier. Makes your DJ life so much more less stressful. So DJ CB is going to be there also. So we're going to have the sickest panel when it comes to DJing. And we've got, for some club DJs, some mobile DJs, we've got a lovely mix, multi-op, USP. We're going to have myself as well also. So you guys are going to be able to ask us any types of questions you want. So I would say, if you've got your ticket for Level Up Live, why not start thinking about some questions now? Why not head back into some of those episodes with Ewan, with Tony, and we're going to have Lords and we're going to have CB on the podcast as well. When those podcasts are playing, take some notes. Look at their social media. What question do you think you could ask them that could directly help you? Not your mate, not your friend, not the community, you. This is time for you to be selfish. You've bought your ticket. How can this show benefit you most? Start writing some of those questions now. Obviously, coming down with 25 questions that you've been writing since November won't be smart. But if you've got your top 5 questions, bring your top 5 questions to the day. You can ask it in an open forum or you can ask them in some of the networking sections, but make sure you come and make the most of this, guys. If you do not make the most of this, only you're going to lose, and I don't want that for you. I want you to win. We can all win. There's more than enough of the whatever you want to call it. There's more than enough work, money, and all of that stuff for all of us, but it's for us to do the things that we need to do to make sure we can get those things. So make sure you head into the link in the description, see what tickets we've got available. I think all of our VIPs are gone. We've got our first tier and we've got our middle tier as well. So go in, have a look. If you haven't got yours, grab your ticket now, and I'll see you on the 22nd. No, not the 22nd. I'll see you on the 22nd of February 2026 for Level Up Live. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Quick take homes. Gaming, Netflix, those things are not getting you to where you want to go unless you are watching DJ documentaries, which they don't exist yet on Spotify. They don't exist on Netflix yet. I say yet because I would love to be a DJ, but we need one. We need one. But those things are not serving you. So if you want to make the jump, decreasing some of those things for a small amount of time, it won't be forever, it will help you make the jump, because you need as much time as possible, guys. With the small time that you do have, you need to make sure you're still offering a great service to your clients. Cutbacks. Cutting back on your spending. You're going to need that when it's time to make the jump. If you're there eating out, buying this, buying clothes, buying all these things that you think you need, and some of these things we don't actually need, if we're spending money like that, when you make the jump, and you might have to be on a reduced income for a couple of months because you're waiting for your bookings to come in or anything like that, these things can make it difficult. And I'm trying to give you all the little scenarios of reasons why you might bounce back. And I don't want you to bounce back. I want you to be in a state. Only if you want this. I want it for you only if you want it. If there's something like that you want, I just want to be here to let you know it is more than possible. Not a little bit, way more than. And then you get a lot of your time back to do some other stuff. You might have some hobbies. You might be a Lego fanatic. You might be one of those guys that want a shed with bit of Lego in there. Imagine you can do that. It's no more dreams. I can leave my job, build my DJ business, get to a stage where I can go and buy that Lego for 350 quid and spend 2 months in the garage, obviously over time, building it. Yes, go and do that. If that's what you want to do, go and do that, man. Go and do that. And last but not least, Level Up Live. Guys, I'm talking about it so much because I'm passionate about what I do. We wouldn't have this podcast. We wouldn't be on Instagram. We wouldn't if we wasn't doing this. And this event had to come to life because it's something that I know the community was screaming for. We wanted something modern, something new, something different to help the DJs in real time. What is it we can help the DJs in real time? Someone made a comment and then they said, is it going to be one of those events where you go and then you end up being given a few gems, but we sell you some mega course afterwards? No, that's not what this is. We want every single person there to level up for that year. Every single person. Doesn't matter what ticket you've got. If you've got the entry ticket, if you've got the VIP, the mid-tier, whatever you've got, everyone must level up. That's going to be my promise. Everyone must. The only reason that someone won't level up is because they didn't take action. The only reason that someone's not going to level up is because they didn't take action. Hands down, facts. Guys, I hope you got something from that. And I will catch you same time, same place next week on the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast. Yes. Make sure you go smash those gigs. Make sure you get your content. Don't be disrespectful when getting your content. Post that stuff, rinse and repeat, and let those bookings fly in. Other than that, guys, I'll catch you in the same time next week. Peace.